Nigerian politics never sleeps. As 2027 approaches, a fierce battle is already brewing inside the African Democratic Congress, ADC, the so-called coalition party many believe could unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But now, reports have emerged of a tense closed-door meeting between former President Goodluck Jonathan and ADC chairman David Mark in Abuja. Jonathan wanted assurances. He wanted the presidential ticket on a platter of gold. But David Mark stood his ground. No automatic ticket for anyone. That clash between Jonathan and David Mark has now thrown the ADC into a deep uncertainty. And at the heart of it all, three powerful names, Jonathan, Atiku, and Obi, each demanding guarantees, each unwilling to play second fiddle. Today, we unpack these explosive developments, the secret deals, the betrayals, and what it all means for Nigeria's 2027 presidential race. Let's begin with Jonathan's gamble. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has been quietly testing the waters for 2027. He knows PDP is too toxic, too divided, too riddled with internal battles. That's why he turned his eyes to ADC, the so-called coalition party. But Jonathan came with one demand: assure me I will be the candidate. At his meeting with David Mark, Jonathan reportedly pressed for commitment, but Mark was blunt. He told Jonathan the ADC cannot hand out automatic tickets, not even to a former president. The party, Mark insisted, must hold a fair and transparent primary. For Jonathan, this was a major setback. His entire calculation was based on walking into ADC as a consensus candidate, backed by northern leaders who want him to do only one term and then hand over. But the refusal of David Mark to bend has left Jonathan's camp frustrated, worried, and scrambling for a new strategy. Let's see Atiku's silent dominance. But Jonathan is not the only big player eyeing ADC. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been heavily investing in the party, quietly building structures, planting loyalties, and, according to insiders, already controlling 65 to 70% of ADC's machinery. This means Atiku has the upper hand. While Jonathan and Obi are asking for guarantees, Atiku has already secured dominance through raw political structure. His men are inside the party organs. And sources claim what ADC leaders are really offering Obi is the vice presidency. Atiku himself has publicly said he is ready for a primary, not afraid of competition. But many insiders believe the primary would only be a formality because the odds are stacked in his favor. For Jonathan, that spells trouble. For Obi, it's even worse. Let's see Obi's dilemma. Peter Obi, the Labour Party candidate of 2023, has been courted by ADC as well. His supporters across Nigeria still see him as the strongest face of opposition, particularly in the southeast. But inside ADC, the story is different. The reality is that ADC leaders, especially those loyal to Atiku, see Obi not as a presidential flag bearer, but a potential running mate. In fact, reports say Atiku's camp is dangling the VP slot before Obi, arguing that since Obi ran with Atiku in 2019, there is nothing wrong if he does so again. But here is the problem. Obi's supporters are fiercely against it. They want nothing less than the presidency for him. If Obi accepts a VP ticket, it could be a political suicide. His entire movement, the so-called obedient base, might revolt against him. Yet Obi himself has said he won't contest directly against Atiku, especially not in Adamawa. He insists that power should remain in the south for equity. To make matters even more complicated, Obi has floated the idea of doing just one term to pave way for balance. But none of these ideas fit well into ADC's current power struggle. Let's see the fault lines inside ADC. What we are witnessing is not just about Jonathan, Atiku or Obi. It is about whether ADC can actually hold together as a coalition. Insiders say the party is shaky. Some leaders are not ready for real change in 2027. Others fear that committing too early to one aspirant could be fatal. If that aspirant fails, right now, ADC looks like three-headed monster, with each aspirant pulling in a different direction. Jonathan wants a deal, Atiku wants structure, Obi wants equity, and David Mark is trying to hold the party together while refusing to play kingmaker. Let's see North versus South equation. Another major fault line is the regional balance. Many northern leaders back Atiku, believing he still has the network and resources to defeat Tinubu. Some also support Jonathan, but only on the condition that he does one thing. On the other hand, southern leaders, especially in the southeast, insist that power must shift to their zone. This is why Obi remains their strongest candidate. But even here, the low voter registration in Southeast worries many strategists. The truth is simple. Without northern votes, no southern candidate can win. Without southern unity, no northern candidate can be trusted. And ADC is caught in the middle of this dangerous balancing act. Tinubu watching closely. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the ruling APC are watching this with keen interest. For Tinubu, a divided opposition is good news. If Atiku, Obi and Jonathan fail to unite, Tinubu could walk into a second term in 2027 almost unchallenged. But if ADC somehow manages to bring them together under one strong ticket, Tinubu will face his biggest battle yet. Let's see what this means for 2027. So, where does this leave Nigerians? Right now, we are seeing a game of high-stakes political poker. Jonathan wants a comeback but has no guarantee. Atiku wants the crown and already controls the party. Obi wants equity but faces betrayal and the VP trap. David Mark is standing as a referee, refusing to hand anyone an automatic ticket. For ordinary Nigerians, the danger is that this infighting may kill the dream of a united opposition. If that happens, Tinubu's APC may tighten its grip on power, no matter how unpopular. Finally, the Jonathan versus David Mark showdown has opened a fresh chapter in Nigeria's political story. It shows that even within the so-called coalition, ambition, mistrust, and betrayal are tearing the opposition apart. Will Jonathan swallow his pride and contest in a primary? Will Atiku finally declare and bulldoze his way to the ticket? Will Obi risk everything and accept a VP role, or will he stand his ground? The answer will shape the Nigeria's future, but one thing is clear. 2027 will not be an ordinary election. It will be a test of survival for both the opposition and the Nigerian people.